Hey guys, welcome back to the Keeping It Real Estate Show with your hosts Justin and Brandy from Team Grande at Remax Escarpment. On today's show, we're talking about the first-time seller's process. We have a lot to talk about in this one. If you're joining us on YouTube, don't forget to hit the notification bell, and please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this.
That's it. And that's, you know what, it's a topic that a lot of people actually, everybody talks about first-time home buyers, but nobody's really talking about first-time home sellers. And we don't realize it because we think just because somebody bought a house, they know what the process is to sell. But you haven't sold before, so you have a lot of questions. So let's run through it. First thing you want to do when you want to sell is you got to start to get all of your affairs in order. So by that, I mean you need to, first and foremost, I'd say start with getting a home evaluation. This helps give you an idea if it's a price that you want, you know, what you think you could sell for. You think, okay, like, you know, my house is worth 900 or $1 million. You know, that's what I'm willing to sell for. It allows you to then calculate your equity in your house. So that's the difference between what your mortgage is and how much your house is worth. So that might help you make the decision when selling. It'll also let you know how much money you're going to have left over when you go to purchase your next house. And using that formula, you can begin to calculate your net proceeds from that. So you have to deduct certain things when you sell, which we'll cover a little bit later on the podcast with closing costs. But some of those things include your lawyer fee. You don't pay a land transfer tax when you sell. So it's just lawyer fee, the real estate commission, and then movers are basically it.
That's right.
When it comes to that. And so you make those deductions to get your net proceeds, and that helps you decide what you can purchase next.
Yeah, that's right. And we don't want to forget at the beginning, you're going to start to declutter here.
Yeah.
So you're going to start to think about what do I need and what I don't need and what's really critical for moving and what should I start packing up right away. I know some people get storage units just to hold their stuff over. That can help.
Yeah, that's a big help. The decluttering is one of the biggest things, and I think a lot of people start to declutter too late because you really don't realize how much stuff you have until you start to declutter.
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time.
Depends what house you're on. Is this your first house? Is this your fifth house?
Yeah.
You start to accumulate stuff.
For sure.
I think moving into, I think it's really important you need to find an agent with relevant experience. Justin and I just did a home eval for someone, and this was a Century home, and I think it's important that someone knows how to sell that style of home, or if it's a condo, someone knows how to sell condos. Do they have experience in that market? Our team that we work on, Team Grande, is really dynamic in that we sell all types of homes. So across our team, we have experience in all those markets.
Yeah, we've sold a lot of properties, country homes, condos. There's so many different things with every single house. You have to have somebody that knows how to understand it. Like, I know a lot of people come out to purchase a country home, but they don't understand everything included with, you know, water potability and septics and all that stuff. So having somebody that is knowledgeable, having somebody that is knowledgeable is a big thing. So that's why I think it's important to just sort of interview multiple agents, because then that gives you an idea of, you know, what you're dealing with. You don't want to call somebody, they come in, tell you something, and then you call somebody else and, you know, and you get blown away with the marketing that they could have done for your house or the knowledge that they have about your area or your house. That's why I always think it's good to kind of, when you're shopping around, pick 2 or 3, interview them, and then go with one you feel the most comfortable with.
Of course, we'd like to say just pick us, but
which you should.
You should. But you have to be comfortable with your decision. You have to know you picked the right agent and that they're going to fight for your best interests. So. Yeah,
and then some other things to consider too at this point when you're looking for an agent and you're thinking about selling. One option is to sell it before you hit the market. So this would mean not listing it. A lot of times we have buyers that are looking, and if you're not interested in having, you know, 100 people come through your house within a week and you have a certain price in mind that you want, and we have a buyer for it, we're more than happy to make that deal happen without bringing you to market. I did it a couple times last year. People that didn't want, you know, especially during COVID, didn't want people coming through their homes, and it just made for a quick, I guess, an easier process for the seller in that scenario.
It can be kind of like a faux pas right now in seller's market, because you think you'd want the highest price, but some people just don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So if you just don't want the open houses and the strangers coming through your home, or, you know, something happened in the family and you just don't have time for it, it's a good option, and we have a huge reach on our team.
Massive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, a lot of people ask this question at this point, okay, you know, instead of hiring an agent, fine agent, maybe I'll sell it myself, which I'm all about saving money if you can.
Yeah.
You know that about me. I like to save where I can. In this market right now, I think selling privately is just not a great decision. Obviously, you're going to say I'm biased because I'm an agent, but we see the differences in price between people that sell private and ones that were listed. And we've actually started to bring our clients, some of them, I bring them to homes that are listed with the private sale companies because we know that we're probably going to get a deal.
100%.
Because
it's about leaving money on the table. So you want someone who's going to be able to fight back for you. And don't forget, we're on the seller's best interest. It might sound greedy, but we're not fighting for the buyers, we're fighting for the sellers.
Exactly.
We don't want to leave money on the table. So if there was an option to get those top offers to come up a little more to get you more price for your home, because what's going to happen? You're going to need that money to go and buy another home. Mm-hmm. So
every dollar counts, and that's what we're here for. We're getting paid by you. We're getting hired by you to do that. So, I mean, definitely, I think you should hire an agent, especially in this market. And when you do, that's when we're going to start to determine how we're going to set a price for your house. And this is the most important thing. There's sort of like an art to pricing, but I guess we'll start with how we value a home. Basically, in the past, we just generally look at comparables in your area. So if you're a 2-story home, 4-bedroom, we'll compare with other 2-story, 4-bedroom homes in your area. We'll take into consideration any upgrades you've done, or if there's any upgrades the houses that have sold had that you didn't. And then we'll sort of narrow down the list. Like, say one house had a garage, you don't, we'll deduct some money off the price of your house because of that garage. Mm-hmm. If you just redid all the electrical in your house and you're in an older home and the house comparable to yours had original electrical, mm-hmm. that's a huge thing to factor in value for your house. Fireplaces, stuff like that, kitchens, bathrooms, all this we take into, and we sort of compare with what is sold, because what is sold shows us what somebody was willing to pay for a house like that, so we have an idea of what they're going to pay for yours.
And because the market's moving so quickly, we try to get the timeline as quick as possible. Yeah. So comparing to something a month, 60 days ago is not as relevant as last week, so that's why there's so many factors. It's comparing time, and it's also comparing region.
I was going to say, even within 2 weeks, like now I'm giving home evaluations this year, and I just tell people, but listen, I'm telling you this now, but in 2 weeks we could be dealing with a completely different price point.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's where we come to the art of pricing. So I know if you've purchased a home recently, you probably competed to get it. If you did compete to get it, when you go to sell, a lot of times sellers have said, well, I want competition on my house. So this is where we get into the art of pricing, and that's where a lot of times you'll price the house below market value, generate a lot of showings, a lot of interest, and then you accept offers on a certain day. What this does is it creates competition for your house. Like, picture you're fishing. Would you not want to fish like in a barrel with a ton of fish in it, or are you going to try and fish in a lake with one fish in it? If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like, you want to price it where you're getting a lot of attention, as opposed to pricing it high, waiting for somebody to come along. You're gonna have a lot more success if you have more people looking at it.
I think when the market was more stable, it was just standard. There was time for people to come and look at your house, and if your house sat for a few weeks or a month, that was normal. But now inventories moves within a week. It's more typical that we're holding offers.
Yeah, I remember we had homes 60 days on the market, 90 days on the market, thinking, okay, well, we got to reduce 10,000, we got to reduce 20,000, but that's not the market we're in. Yeah. If your house is listed, or it was listed in the last year, and you didn't sell, you got to call us so we can get it sold for you, because this is like, it shocks me that you got to know how to price a house. It makes a massive difference when you're going to sell it, and we see it on the team because of how many deals we do. Mm-hmm. We see the difference when you price it correctly versus when you price it incorrectly. You can actually make more money by
100%.
By pricing it correctly.
I think a big question too, people ask, does it matter on the style or the price of home? Like, is there a difference between a $900,000 home versus a $3 million home?
Mm-hmm. So that's always a hit and miss question, but in this market right now, we're seeing these $2 million, $3 million homes are going into competition. Like, they're pricing, like one had priced at 1.99, it sold for 2.7. We're seeing houses listed, 2.2 million go for 2.9, and then of course we see houses listed for $799 going for 1.433, like this one house that I've been on. Yeah. So, I mean, right now, just the name of the game is price it low, get all the attention, because we see people in this market pricing for what the house is probably worth, and they just sit. Yeah. And I don't know if I should give the secret out, but I have buyers set up to receive a house automatically when it's been listed for 15 days or more.
I love it.
That way we know, okay, this one's sitting, and we'll look at the value and think this actually isn't bad value. And not only that, we usually negotiate it down, probably get a finance condition in there, probably get a home inspection condition in there. So that's my secret. I probably shouldn't have revealed that one.
Yeah, just as a seller, if this has happened to you, when you let your house sit longer than what the average house is sitting in the market, you're giving that buyer an advantage to come in and drop your price because they think, what's going on here? And no one's bringing offers.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I guess then, we've decided on the price of your home. We got to prepare to bring the house to market. So what do you need to do before we get listed? One of the major things, decluttering is huge. I think go room by room, declutter, massive. And on top of that, if you have small fixes you can make, I think that makes a big difference. Like one of the biggest things when you sell a house is your front door. If your front door doesn't open or close easily, or it's damaged or ding, like this is the first impression of the house.
Yeah.
I think just make sure that that's all working well. Your knob works, your handle works, everything's good.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think in this market, you just put the house on the market and it doesn't matter. But what you're doing when you leave these minor details is you're allowing a buyer in their head to start prying, okay, what else is wrong with this house?
Yeah, exactly. It just takes one thing, and then because we see it, the buyers go through, they see one thing, and they're like, oh, this is like not done right, and then they start pointing out like a loose, I don't know, something else.
I have a perfect example of this. We saw it was a minor crack in the foundation, and then we look up, we're in the basement, we look up, the wall has a board over it, and I'm like, that's really weird. Why is that like that? We pull the board, and the whole foundation under the rest of the house was just, it was weird. Oh, it was I can't even get into it, but but it just allows a buyer to pry. You don't know what they're doing when they're in your house, and they're going to look because they want to know. They're making the biggest purchase of their life. So
of course, and that's why it's also important, like to cover those things, not cover them up, but like make sure that everything's working, that you fix things, the repairs are there, so the buyers don't get deterred. It also starts with your curb appeal is a big one. Like cut your grass if it's the summertime, if it's the winter,
these are cheap
shovel
fixes,
your snow.
right?
Like it's just easy things
Salt
to do.
it.
Yeah, that make it easy for people to come and see your house and not worry about they're going to die going down your stairs or up your stairs to get into the house. Right.
And stage your home. We have options and we have packages that we work with other buyers, and we're sellers, and we're completely flexible. And we're always willing to throw staging in if it's something we think that will be really important. We also have virtual staging options. So if you don't want to get the furniture in there and cause all that hassle, or another thing is like, say you have a third floor or a basement, it's really hard to get furniture in there. Virtual staging is kind of a cool option that we do now.
Yeah.
I've been fooled by it. I've seen photos on the MLS and I'm like, wait, that's not real.
Yeah, and you got to get the right one because some of them do look not great.
Really cheesy.
Yeah, but some of them, if you hire, like we use really good company, and it looks pretty legit. So that's a good option for you too. Okay, so now we prepared it to list. What are we going to do when you're listed? What should you expect? So you're going to get a lockbox on your door. This is basically the way showings are going to get conducted. There's going to be a lockbox on your door. There's going to be a key in it. Somebody's going to want to see your house. They're going to call their agent, or they're going to call us, and they're going to book an appointment with our office. Our office will contact you, let you know when the showing is. You have the option to accept or deny it. Once it's accepted, the agent comes with their buyer, and they walk through the house. We're not there for the showings, for these showings. So it's their agent with that. But we know who's going through your house because we have all the agent's information.
It's all logged.
You'll know who it is too, right? You'll know the agent coming through. And that's on our 24-hour appointment center that we have that's exclusive to our brokerage. It's phenomenal that we have this. To make the showings easier. So that's sort of the way the showings work. Showings right now used to be an hour. Now they're 30 minutes just
15.
to get people into the house. If it's a really busy one. I bought my house in 15 minutes. I'm thinking about it.
I just had a client make a decision in 15 minutes. You know right away.
Yeah.
A buyer knows within 5 minutes whether they want that house or not.
Yeah, and then there's difference. Like if you're holding offers, which is where you're priced low, you're holding for a week, you're not accepting anything. If you're going that strategy, then expect a lot of showings all weekend and in evenings especially weekends right now because out-of-town buyers, that's when they come in. If you're just priced, what you think you want, the value, and we're not holding offers, then you might only be seeing 5 or 6 showings a week, so it won't be as hectic. So that's something to prepare for as well.
And kind of like we explained as well before is about holding money on the table. So The whole holding offers right now and getting more people to come through the house, pricing it lower. The whole point is more people that see the place, more offers drive up those higher offers.
Even if you have somebody come in at your low list price, the person that's at the higher price point will feel like they need to pay more.
Because if I'm putting a bid on a house and I see there's 5 offers on the table versus 18, that agent's probably going to advise that client, well, there's a lot here. We want to put more of our best foot forward. So.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, we're doing it, like we said, to get the most money for the sellers. This is the way the system is now. Our job is to navigate this market to get you the most amount of money. I know a lot of people say, well, why do you list like that? Why are you doing that? It's agents. It's like, guys, that's like blaming the gas attendant for the price of gas. Like, the market's just on fire. We're getting paid to make sure that we get the sellers the most amount of money. And that's what I'm going to do. You're hiring me, I'm going to do it for you. Like, we're going to follow the strategy that works.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So on offer day, offers come in. At this point, this is when, if it's multiple offers, we'll look at the highest ones. We'll decide which one we want to take, which one has the price we like, the closing date we like, if there's no conditions, that sort of thing. And one thing, we talk about it, is a lot of people think that if they get there at list price or higher, you have to accept it. But you don't. You could get 10 offers over your asking price and deny all of them and not sell.
There's no pressure from us either.
Yeah.
We're not telling you to take what you want. But.
Yeah, be comfortable. We've listed houses basically where guys told me, listen, this is what I'm going to get, and if I don't get it, I'm not going to sell, and okay, no problem. We're still going to do what we can, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we'd love if it happened. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out.
Exactly.
So once sold, we've signed the paperwork, everything's done. This is when you start to plan everything. So we'll arrange everything with your lawyers. We'll make sure they get the paperwork so it's nice and easy for you. And, all you really have to worry about at this point, your major thing, just, start packing.
Finish your packing, yeah.
Finish that, yeah. Hopefully you've already decluttered. So if there's anything mentioned that need to be fixed in the contract, you have to fix it at this point. I'd expect a couple walkthroughs from some buyers.
Two is pretty standard, usually one the day before close. If they mention anything, the faucet wasn't working or that sort of thing, it's probably going to be brought up then, because after it's closed, it's a lot harder for them to come back. And so hide everything. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Don't hide anything.
It's a joke.
And then planning your move is the big one. So we work with Morrison Movers quite often. I've used them personally a bunch of times, never had an issue. They'll give you a 10% discount if you buy or sell with us. It's a great thing that we have with them. So I would consider that as one of your closing costs. Legal fees, probably a couple $1,000 in your closing costs. And then the realtor commissions, which there's no set commission out there. It always fluctuates. Like, even we have 3 different packages that kind of, tailor to whatever services you want to make it easy for you, but those fees are considered as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are hesitant about using an agent because they think we're so set on 5%, but sometimes we don't think it's necessary. If you don't want to do all the stops, we have no reason from taking that money out of your pocket.
Yeah, if I'm not going to be spending more money, I don't want to make more, you know what I mean? I'd rather, we like to scale it so it's fair for everybody.
Yeah. And don't forget to forward your mail. This is a huge one. All you have to do is go to Canada Post and have it forwarded for like a 6-month timeline, 6 months to a year, depending on what you need to move around. But you don't want to be sending that all to your old house, especially if you have really important bills or...
Yeah. And then give your buyer a good experience when they move in. Like, clean it a little bit. Try not to leave dirty toilets. Just be a nice person when it comes to closing.
Yeah.
I've moved into a house and somebody did something to my toilet and it was there when I moved in and it wasn't great. So, just be nice. It's a new home for somebody. They're very excited about it. Think about when you bought it, how excited you were. So that's something to consider too, right?
Bad karma.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. I guess that's pretty much it for now. If you want to know what your home is worth, if you're a first-time seller, you want to kind of break down the process more, know what it's worth, we're more than happy to come and do a home evaluation. We can come in person, or right now, we're doing a lot of virtual evaluations, which is essentially where we just look up your property. We'll give you a price range because we're not going to be able to give you an exact without seeing the house, but it's a good idea to get an indication of where your house may land.
Yeah. And that's free. It takes about 10, 30 minutes, and then plus whatever back work we do. So that's that.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for joining us again. We hope that this was informative, and we would love it if you would like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, you got to ding that little bell so you get notifications when the next episode comes. But once again, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
See you later.